January 20th, 2025. Donald Trump is inaugurated as the 47th President of the United States. And he has a message for China. The U.S. Navy will expand. 355 ships, the largest fleet since the end of the Cold War. More carriers, more destroyers, more submarines. The goal, naval dominance in the Pacific. Trump's first term saw the trade wars and tariffs. His second term will see a naval arms race. China has been building ships faster than any nation in history. Now Trump wants to match them. This is the story of Trump's naval doctrine, how he plans to reshape the U.S. Navy, and why it could trigger the biggest military buildup in decades. Trump's vision is simple: peace through strength, naval superiority through shipbuilding. But can America build ships fast enough? Can the budget support 355 ships? And will China back down or double down? Let's break down Trump's Navy plan. The 355-ship Navy. This isn't a new idea. During Trump's first term, Congress passed the 2018 National Defense Authorization Act. It mandated a 355-ship fleet. Trump supported it, but the ships were never built. Why? Money, time, shipyard capacity. Building ships takes years. An aircraft carrier takes 7 years from contract to commissioning. A destroyer takes 4 to 5 years. Submarines take 6 to 8 years. Trump's first term ended in 2021. Most of the ships ordered during that period are still under construction. Now Trump is back, and he's demanding results. The current U.S. Navy operates approximately 290 ships. That's down from 594 ships in 1987 at the peak of the Reagan buildup. China operates 370 ships, and growing. To reach 355 ships, the U.S. must add 65 vessels. That requires sustained shipbuilding for a decade. Trump's plan: accelerate production, increase funding, rebuild American shipyards. It's ambitious and expensive. Aircraft carriers, the centerpiece of American naval power. The U.S. operates 11 carriers, all nuclear-powered. No other nation has more than 3. Trump wants to maintain 12 carriers, one more than current policy. The newest carrier, USS Gerald R. Ford, costs $13 billion. The Navy plans to build 4 more Ford-class carriers. Trump's policy: accelerate carrier construction, ensure one carrier is always deployed to the Western Pacific. China is building carriers too. They have 3. A 4th is under construction, possibly a 5th. By 2035, China could have 6 carriers, all operating in the Pacific. Trump's message: America will always have more and better. But there's a problem. Carriers are expensive and vulnerable. Chinese anti-ship ballistic missiles can strike carriers from 1,500 miles away. Hypersonic weapons are nearly impossible to intercept. Some military analysts argue carriers are obsolete in a war with China. Trump disagrees. He believes carriers project power, deter aggression, show American strength. His strategy: build more carriers, improve their defenses, surround them with better escorts. Destroyers and cruisers, the escorts that protect carriers. The U.S. operates 70 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, 22 Ticonderoga-class cruisers. Trump's plan: build more Burke destroyers, accelerate the DDG-X Next Generation Destroyer program. The DDG-X will be larger than the Burke. More missiles, more power, better radar. But it's expensive. Estimated cost: $3 billion per ship. Trump wants to order more despite the cost. His philosophy: quality and quantity. China has 49 modern destroyers, 50-plus frigates, and they're building more every year. Trump's strategy: outbuild China in high-end combatants. This means more Burkes, more cruisers, more firepower. The Ticonderoga cruisers are aging, built in the 1980s and 1990s. Some are over 30 years old. Trump's plan: extend their service lives, upgrade their systems, keep them fighting until replacements are ready. Critics say this is wasteful. Old ships cost more to maintain, break down frequently. Trump counters: we need the hulls now. We can't wait 10 years for new cruisers. Submarines, America's stealth advantage. The U.S. operates 50 nuclear attack submarines, Virginia-class and Los Angeles-class. These are the best submarines in the world. quieter than any rival. Better weapons, superior sensors. Trump's plan: accelerate Virginia-class production, build 2 submarines per year, increase to 3 if possible. China has 60 submarines, but most are diesel-electric, louder, shorter range, less capable. China has only 6 modern nuclear attack submarines. The U.S. has 50. This is America's decisive advantage underwater. Trump wants to maintain it. More submarines, better torpedoes, advanced unmanned underwater vehicles. Submarines can blockade Chinese ports, sink Chinese carriers, control the sea lanes. In Trump's strategy, submarines are the asymmetric weapon that wins a Pacific war. But there's a bottleneck: shipyard capacity. Only 2 shipyards build nuclear submarines: Electric Boat in Connecticut, Newport News in Virginia. They're maxed out. Building submarines for the U.S. Building submarines for Australia under AUKUS. Trump's solution: expand the shipyards, hire more workers, increase funding. Easier said than done. Shipbuilding is a skilled trade. Training takes years. Facilities require massive investment. Trump promises to cut regulations, speed up approvals, make it easier to expand. But even with Trump's support, shipyard expansion takes time. Unmanned systems, the future of naval warfare. Trump's Navy will invest heavily in drones, surface drones, underwater drones, aerial drones. Ukraine demonstrated the effectiveness of sea drones against Russia's Black Sea Fleet. Small, cheap, expendable. Trump wants the U.S. Navy to adopt similar tactics. Large unmanned surface vessels, ghost ships loaded with missiles, controlled remotely or autonomously. They cost a fraction of a manned destroyer, but carry similar firepower. Trump's vision: a hybrid fleet, manned ships for command and control, unmanned ships for firepower and risk. This is the innovation China fears most. China's Navy is large, but it's conventional: manned vessels, predictable tactics. If the U.S. deploys hundreds of unmanned drones, China's advantage in ship numbers disappears. Swarm tactics, distributed operations, overwhelming volume of attacks. Trump sees drones as the equalizer. The budget question: how does America pay for 355 ships? The current defense budget is approximately $850 billion. The Navy gets about $250 billion. To reach 355 ships, the Navy needs sustained increases. At least $20 billion more per year. For a decade. That's $200 billion in additional spending. Trump's solution: economic growth, cut waste, renegotiate contracts. He argues a stronger economy generates more tax revenue, supports higher defense spending. Critics argue it's not enough. The deficit is already massive. Adding $200 billion for ships is unsustainable. Trump counters: national security is worth it. China is an existential threat, and if America doesn't build ships, China wins by default. The political fight will be intense, but Trump has Republican support in Congress. Expect the 355-ship goal to be funded, at least partially. The industrial base challenge: American shipyards are a shadow of their former capacity. In World War II, the U.S. built thousands of ships, carriers, destroyers, submarines, transports. Today, the U.S. builds maybe 10 to 12 major warships per year. China builds 50-plus ships per year. The industrial disparity is massive. Trump wants to revitalize American shipbuilding. Tax incentives for shipyards, subsidies for training programs, government contracts guaranteed for decades. It's a Marshall Plan for the Navy. But rebuilding industrial capacity takes time and money. Even with Trump's policies, it will take 10 years to significantly increase production. By then, China will have built 500-plus more ships. The math is brutal. Allies and partners. Trump's Navy isn't alone. Japan, Australia, South Korea all have capable navies. Trump's strategy: integrate allied fleets, joint operations, shared logistics. Japan operates 36 destroyers and frigates, 4 helicopter carriers being converted to carry F-35s. Australia is building nuclear submarines under AUKUS, 8 boats, operational by the 2030s. South Korea has 12 destroyers, 18 submarines, advanced technology. Together, these allied navies add 100-plus modern warships to the Pacific balance. Trump's plan: coordinate with allies, conduct joint patrols, share intelligence. The goal: create a collective fleet that outnumbers China. China operates alone. Russia is a minor player in the Pacific. North Korea's navy is obsolete. If the U.S. plus allies coordinate, they have numerical parity with China. Trump sees this as the path to victory. The Taiwan scenario. This is the flashpoint, the reason for the naval buildup. If China invades Taiwan, the U.S. Navy must respond. But can the U.S. win? War games suggest heavy losses, multiple carriers sunk, dozens of destroyers and submarines lost. China's home field advantage is decisive. Land-based missiles, overwhelming air power, short supply lines. Trump's strategy: deter the war before it starts. Show overwhelming force. Deploy carriers, submarines. Surround Taiwan with allied fleets. Make the cost of invasion so high that China backs down. But deterrence only works if China believes the U.S. will fight. Trump must convince Xi Jinping that America will go to war for Taiwan. That requires credible military power, hence the 355-ship Navy. It's not about fighting the war, it's about preventing it. Trump's personal approach matters. He's unpredictable, willing to escalate, doesn't follow diplomatic norms. China's leadership doesn't know how Trump will react. That uncertainty is a form of deterrence. Biden was predictable, cautious, risk-averse. Trump is volatile, aggressive, willing to gamble. China fears unpredictability more than conventional strength. Trump knows this. He uses it. His Navy buildup is as much psychological as military. Signal strength, project power. Keep China guessing. The economic dimension. Naval power isn't just military, it's economic. The U.S. Navy protects global trade routes, ensures freedom of navigation. 80% of global trade moves by sea. If China dominates the Pacific, they control trade. They can blockade rivals, coerce neighbors, dictate terms. Trump's Navy prevents this. By maintaining naval superiority, the U.S. keeps sea lanes open. This protects American economic interests and allied economies. Japan, South Korea, Taiwan all depend on maritime trade. If China controls the seas, their economies collapse. Trump's 355-ship Navy is insurance against Chinese economic coercion. It's not just defense spending, it's economic security. The technology race. Ships are only part of the equation. Weapons matter, sensors matter, command and control matters. Trump's Navy will invest in hypersonic missiles, fast, hard to intercept, long-range strike, directed energy weapons, lasers for missile defense, artificial intelligence, autonomous systems, faster decision-making, cyber warfare, disrupt Chinese networks, protect American systems, space capabilities, satellites for targeting, communications, navigation. This is 21st century naval warfare. It's not just about ships. It's about the technology those ships carry. Trump wants America to lead in every domain. The timeline is critical. China's Navy is growing now. Every year they add 20-plus ships. The U.S. adds 8 to 10 ships per year. If this continues, China achieves decisive superiority by 2030. Trump has 4 years to reverse the trend. That's not enough time to build 65 ships. But it's enough time to order the ships, secure funding, expand shipyards, accelerate production. The ships won't be finished during Trump's term, but the foundation will be laid. The question is whether future administrations continue the program or cancel it and start over. American defense policy is inconsistent. Each president has different priorities. Trump's legacy depends on whether his Navy plan survives beyond 2029. The risk of war. A naval arms race increases tensions. More ships, more deployments, more confrontations. The risk of miscalculation grows. A collision at sea, a warning shot, an accident. Any incident could escalate into conflict. Trump's critics argue the buildup provokes China, makes war more likely, not less. Trump disagrees. He believes strength prevents war, weakness invites aggression. If China thinks they can win, they'll attack Taiwan. If they know they'll lose, they won't. The 355-ship Navy is deterrence, not provocation. History will judge who's right. Final assessment. Trump's return means a more aggressive U.S. Navy. More ships, more deployments, more confrontation with China. The 355-ship goal is ambitious, perhaps unrealistic, but the direction is clear. America will invest in naval power. The question is whether it's enough. China is building faster, has more shipyards, lower costs. The U.S. has better technology, better training, better allies. Who wins depends on execution. Trump has 4 years. If he accelerates shipbuilding, expands capacity, maintains funding, the U.S. can slow China's naval advantage, maybe reverse it by the 2030s. If he fails, if costs spiral, if shipyards can't deliver, China achieves naval superiority in the Pacific, and the balance of power shifts permanently. Trump's Navy plan is a gamble, a multi-billion-dollar bet that American industry can rebuild, that American shipyards can compete with China, that American taxpayers will fund a naval arms race. The outcome isn't certain, but the stakes are clear. Control of the Pacific, the future of Taiwan, the balance of global power. Trump's 355-ship Navy isn't just about ships. It's about whether America remains a Pacific power or cedes the ocean to China. The next 4 years will decide. The shipyard crisis deepens. American shipbuilding collapsed after the Cold War. Commercial shipyards closed, moved overseas. Asia undercut prices. Today, China has 250-plus shipyards. South Korea has 50. Japan has 30. The United States has 7 major naval shipyards. That's it. 7 facilities building all Navy ships. Compare that to World War II. Over 100 shipyards operated, building thousands of vessels simultaneously. The industrial decline is staggering. Trump's plan requires reversing 40 years of decline, building new shipyards, training new workers, recreating lost expertise. It's not impossible, but it's hard. China's advantage compounds annually. Every year the U.S. doesn't expand capacity. China pulls further ahead. Trump has to act fast. Executive orders, emergency funding, national security justifications. Treat shipbuilding like a wartime priority, because in a sense it is. The recruiting challenge. Ships need sailors. The Navy is struggling to recruit. Current active duty, 345,000 sailors. To crew 355 ships, the Navy needs 400,000-plus sailors. That's 55,000 more recruits, plus replacements for those who leave. The Navy must recruit 40,000 to 50,000 people annually, just to maintain current levels. Recruiting 55,000 extra over 4 years means increasing annual recruitment by 25%. Difficult in a strong economy. Young people have better options. Trump's solution: increase pay, better benefits, expand recruitment programs, make military service attractive again. But there's competition. The Army, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, all competing for the same pool of young Americans. And the pool is shrinking. Birth rates declined. Fewer eligible recruits. The math is challenging. Automation helps. Newer ships require smaller crews. A Nimitz-class carrier has 5,000 crew. A Ford-class carrier has 4,600. Automation reduces manning by 400 per ship. Future destroyers might operate with 150 crew instead of 300. But automation has limits. In combat, you need people. Damage control, repairs, decision-making under stress. Humans remain essential. Trump's Navy needs both, better technology and more people. The training pipeline. Recruiting is one challenge. Training is another. A sailor takes 6 to 12 months to train, depending on specialty. Nuclear technicians train for 2 years. If the Navy expands by 55,000 sailors, training schools must expand proportionally. More instructors, more facilities, more equipment. Trump's plan includes expanding training infrastructure. Great Lakes Naval Station, Naval Station San Diego, recruit training centers. All need more capacity. The Navy estimates 3 to 5 years to fully expand training. That's most of Trump's term. By 2029, the foundation is laid, but results come later. Trump's successor inherits the benefit, or cancels the program if priorities change. Consistency is the biggest challenge in American defense policy. The global implications. Trump's Navy buildup affects everyone. China responds with more shipbuilding. The arms race accelerates. Russia watches nervously. Their Pacific fleet is tiny, outdated, irrelevant. India sees opportunity. Partner with the U.S. balance China. Southeast Asian nations navigate carefully. Don't anger China. Don't abandon the U.S. Japan and South Korea welcome the buildup. More American ships mean more security. But they also face pressure. Increase their own defense spending. Buy more ships. Contribute more. Trump demands burden sharing. Allies must do their part. This creates friction, but also forces allies to invest. The net result: more ships, more capability, more deterrence. Or more tension, more confrontation, more risk. Depends on perspective. Europe watches with concern. NATO navies are weak, decades of underinvestment. Only Britain and France have significant fleets, and they're small. Trump's Pacific focus means less attention to Europe. Russia's navy threatens NATO's northern flank. But Trump prioritizes China. European allies must defend themselves. This is Trump's philosophy: America first. Europe handles Europe. America focuses on China. It's a strategic shift with global consequences. The Middle East dimension. Trump's Navy buildup affects the Persian Gulf. The U.S. Fifth Fleet patrols the region, protects oil tankers, deters Iran. If more ships deploy to the Pacific, fewer remain in the Middle East. Iran sees opportunity, more aggressive, more dangerous. But Trump's plan includes more ships total. Eventually, the Navy can cover both theaters. 355 ships means flexibility. Deploy 200 to the Pacific, 100 to the Atlantic and Mediterranean, 50 to the Persian Gulf. Coverage everywhere. But that's the endgame, 10 years away. In the near term, trade-offs exist. Trump must choose, Pacific or Persian Gulf. He chooses Pacific. China is the priority. Iran is a nuisance. China is an existential threat. This is the calculus. The domestic politics. Trump's Navy plan faces opposition. Progressives argue the money should go to domestic programs, healthcare, infrastructure. Fiscal conservatives worry about the deficit, $200 billion more in defense spending. Some argue ships are obsolete. Missiles and drones are the future. Trump counters with jobs. Shipbuilding creates employment, shipyards, suppliers, support industries. Every ship built employs thousands. Politically, that's powerful. Congressional districts with shipyards support the plan. Those without are skeptical. But Trump has Republican majorities, at least initially. The plan gets funded. How consistently? That depends on elections. If Democrats retake Congress in 2026, funding could stop. The Navy plan becomes a political football. This is the risk. The technological vulnerabilities. More ships doesn't guarantee victory. Technology evolves. New threats emerge. China's hypersonic missiles, anti-ship ballistic missiles, cyber weapons. A single DF-21D missile costs $10 million. An aircraft carrier costs $13 billion. If the missile sinks the carrier, China wins the trade. Trump's solution: better defenses. Advanced missile interceptors, directed energy weapons, electronic warfare. Invest in the shield as much as the sword. Lasers can shoot down missiles, cheaper than traditional interceptors. The Navy is testing laser systems, deploying them on ships. Trump accelerates these programs. The goal: make carriers survivable even against hypersonics. It's an arms race within an arms race. China builds better missiles. U.S. builds better defenses. Neither side achieves decisive advantage, but both spend billions trying. The space dimension. Modern naval warfare depends on satellites, GPS for navigation, communications, targeting. China develops anti-satellite weapons. If war starts, China destroys U.S. satellites. The Navy goes blind. Ships can't communicate, can't navigate accurately, can't target enemies. This is a critical vulnerability. Trump's Space Force focuses on protecting satellites, defensive measures, redundancy, hardened systems. But space is contested. China has the capability to deny U.S. space access. The Navy must prepare for operating without satellites. Old-school navigation, radio communication, visual targeting. Skills that were obsolete, now essential again. Trump's Navy trains for this. Expect the unexpected. Prepare for degraded technology. Low-tech solutions to high-tech problems. The lessons from Ukraine. Ukraine's war with Russia shows naval warfare evolving. Sea drones sink warships. Cheap weapons beat expensive ships. Trump's Navy learns these lessons. Invest in drones, swarm tactics, asymmetric weapons. Don't just build big ships. Build many small ones, too. This is the hybrid fleet concept. Carriers and destroyers, plus hundreds of unmanned vessels. Overwhelming numbers. Distributed lethality. China must target thousands of platforms, not just dozens. This complicates their planning, increases costs. Ukraine shows that innovation beats mass. Trump wants American innovation applied at scale. Combine the best technology with the most platforms. That's how the U.S. wins. The historical parallels. Trump's 355-ship Navy echoes the Reagan buildup. In the 1980s, President Reagan expanded the Navy to 600 ships. The goal? Bankrupt the Soviet Union, force them to compete. It worked. The USSR collapsed, partly from military overspending. Trump sees a similar strategy. Build so many ships that China can't keep up. Force China to spend on defense instead of economic growth. Strain their economy. Create internal pressure. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But the parallel is intentional. Peace through strength. Spend the enemy into submission. Reagan's legacy guides Trump's strategy. The difference? China's economy is stronger than the USSR's was. China is the world's factory, exports everywhere, massive foreign reserves. They can afford a naval arms race. The USSR couldn't, so Trump's strategy faces a more formidable opponent. But the philosophy remains. Build until the enemy can't match you, then dictate terms, the diplomatic track. Trump's Navy isn't just military, it's diplomatic leverage. Negotiate from strength, show China 355 ships, then offer a deal. Reduce tensions, guarantee Taiwan's autonomy, open markets. In exchange, slow the buildup. This is Nixon's approach. Peace through negotiation, backed by military power. Trump is transactional. Everything is negotiable. The Navy is a bargaining chip. Maybe he never builds all 355 ships. But threatening to do so forces China to compromise. This is the art of the deal applied to geopolitics. Critics argue it's reckless, increases miscalculation risk. Supporters argue it's realistic, power matters. History will judge. The final verdict. Trump's return means a more powerful U.S. Navy. 355 ships is the goal. Probably won't be fully achieved. But 320 to 330 ships is realistic by 2035. That's 40 more ships than today. Not enough to match China's total numbers, but enough to maintain qualitative superiority. Combined with allies, the balance holds. China doesn't achieve decisive dominance. The Pacific remains contested. Taiwan survives. That's success. Not victory, but deterrence. The purpose of Trump's Navy isn't to fight China. It's to prevent the fight. Make invasion too costly, too risky, too uncertain. Keep China guessing. Maintain American credibility. Protect allies. Secure sea lanes. If Trump achieves this, the 355-ship Navy succeeds. Even if it never reaches 355. The direction matters more than the number. America is investing in naval power. Rebuilding shipyards, training sailors, ordering ships. The message is clear. The U.S. Navy will remain the most powerful in the world. China's rise is acknowledged, but not accepted. America contests every mile of ocean. Trump's Navy is the instrument of that contest for the next 4 years and beyond. The Pacific is the battlefield. Ships are the weapons, and Trump is betting everything on American industrial power. The gamble of the century. Success or failure will define the 21st century. Who controls the seas controls the world. Trump intends for America to control them. 355 ships. That's the plan. Now we'll see if America can deliver.